Welcome to the BTM channel's 36th short on retrotech, innovation, science, and space exploration. This video is our fifth in our series on the Tesla Battery Day. Milestones 21 and short 33 published the Tesla presentation on the new 4680 battery and associated improved manufacturing processes. Short 34 provided another peek at Musk's comments on a possible Tesla home HVAC product, and short 35 covered Musk's comments on the Cybertruck. Links to those videos can be found in the upper right-hand corner of this video, or in the description section below. Elon Musk has made it no secret that one of his primary motivations behind Tesla is that of the Earth's ecosystem. As a result, Tesla as a company is structured to eliminate hydrocarbon fuels as a source of energy at every turn. Tesla electric cars are designed to replace internal combustion engine cars. Tesla solar panels are designed to replace electricity provided by coal and natural gas power plants. And Tesla power storage products are designed to make intermittent energy sources such as solar and wind more practical for a grid that needs power every hour of every day of the week. So, whether it is responding to the early 21st century's enhanced interest in climate change, the reduction of manufacturing processes that produce toxic waste and consume too many natural resources, or the goal of increasing the share of renewable energy products in the world's economy, Tesla has a program to address it. During Battery Day, Musk and his staff took 3 opportunities to highlight Tesla's efforts in the aforementioned areas, once during the opening statement, once during the reveal of new cathode technologies, and once during the Q&A session following the end of the presentation. We're presenting these 3 segments out of time order, but in the order of relevance, from the framing of an answer to a shareholder's question about Tesla's impact on climate change, to the opening statement of the presentation, and closing with the cathode technology's improvements. Each segment provides increasing details that help understand the company's efforts in ecological improvement. First is the Q&A session question.
Elon, great job with everything that you're doing. Thras Gerber from Gerber Kawasaki. Your team's amazing. What I'm most curious about, these innovations are incredible, but on my drive up here, fully on autopilot for 400 miles, the entire state is brown. And this is ultimately about climate. Has there been some analysis done if all these things are achieved? What will its direct impact be on climate?
Well, I mean, I think it will have a very significant impact because it will stop the CO2 ppm from growing as it is every year. And I mean, I should say, like, I try to view the whole climate thing for, as a science question as much as possible. Science, you always question your hypothesis. Is it true? Is it not true? Or assign a probability to a given hypothesis. And I should say that my original interest in electric vehicles predates the climate issue. Like, just when I was in high school, it's like, I thought, man, if we don't figure out electric cars, the whole economy is going to collapse when we run out of oil. So it's like, we better figure out electric cars and sustainable energy, or civilization is going to crumble. And then it was only kind of later that the significance of the climate risk became apparent. And we were also able, using fracking and other types of technology, to access a lot more fossil fuels than previously thought, which is, helpful for lowering the cost of gasoline, but it's pretty bad for the total tonnage of CO2 that you could put in the atmosphere. Is now greatly beyond what people previously thought. So, but this is, as we were just going through in this presentation, it's like it is a absolutely monumental task to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. I mean, the entire global economy is still, more than 99% dependent on, or roughly 99% dependent on fossil fuels. So although electric cars kind of get a lot of press right now, they're still, and there's still very few, as a percentage of the total global fleet, is practically nothing. I would say, yes, less than 1% of the global fleet is electric right now. Because of 2 billion cars and trucks and whatnot in use. So there's a massive amount of work ahead, just insane, like hard to comprehend how much work is ahead to get the new vehicle production to be sustainable, to massively increase the amount of stationary storage, which is critical because renewable energy is intermittent. Wind and solar is is intermittent. Sometimes the wind doesn't blow, and this obviously the sun doesn't shine at night. So you got to have batteries, a massive number of batteries. So
it's hard to measure in direct impact, but it's an experiment that we shouldn't be performing, and the sooner we can sort of end the experiment, the sooner we can kind of move on in a fully sustainable way that is actually lower cost. I mean, I think the thing that people haven't fully internalized is once we do get to the 25K car, the ownership cost of that car is incredibly lower than the prior car. And then on the solar side and wind, with the cost of solar and wind coming down and with batteries coming down with them, the actual cost of energy on the grid is going down. So we're sort of moving towards a sustainable, lower cost future. So there's not really a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's true. It is a false dichotomy to say that it's either prosperity or sustainability. This is often used, by oil and gas to say like, oh, well, do you want people to lose their jobs? Do you want lower people's standards of living? Do you want to, make all these economic sacrifices, really, in order to have sustainability? And the reality, as Drew was saying, is that a sustainable energy is going to be lower cost, not higher cost, than fossil fuels.
The Q&A session question provides a good lead-in to the overarching goals and accomplishments of Tesla, as shown in the presentation opening.
So obviously the issues we're facing are very serious, with climate change, and we're experiencing these issues on a day-to-day basis. It's incredibly important we accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. Time really matters. This presentation is about accelerating the time to sustainable energy. So the past 5 years were the hottest on record. We have what looks like a wall for CO2 ppm. It's obviously, this time is not like the past. It's really important that we take action. Running this climate experiment is insane. So,
especially when it's just a transitory one anyway.
Yes.
We're going to run out of these fossil fuels. Let's just move to the future and not run this experiment any longer.
Yeah. Maybe talk a bit louder.
You got it.
Okay. So anyway, there is a lot of good news though. A lot of people may not be aware that wind and solar comprise 75% of new electricity capacity in the U.S. this year. So this is a really major. So the grid is going sustainable very, very quickly. Now it's also worth noting that the length of time that power plants last is on the order of 25 years. So even if 100% of energy generation was sustainable, it would still take 25 years to convert the grid. And it's also worth noting that in the past 10 years, power production from coal has dropped in half. So it went from 46% of electricity in 2010 to 23% in 2020. So this is a massive improvement. So good things are happening on a lot of levels. We just need to go faster. So in terms of Tesla's contribution, we've delivered over 1 million electric vehicles, 26 billion electric miles driven, and many gigawatt hours of stationary batteries, 17 terawatt hours of solar generated. So I think solar is sometimes underweighted at Tesla, but it is a massive part of our future. The three parts of a sustainable energy future are sustainable energy generation, storage, and electric vehicles. So we intend to play a significant role in all three. So to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy, we must produce more EVs that need to be affordable, and a lot more energy storage, while building factories faster and with far less investment.
The entire Battery Day presentation was full of ecologically friendly business decisions by Tesla. We encourage viewers to watch the whole thing to unpack them all. But perhaps the most significant decision was the improvement of the industrial processing of ore for cathode materials. The details were reviewed about 2/3 of the way through the presentation.
Actually, the cathode process itself is a big target. 35% of the cathode dollar per kilowatt hour is just in transferring it into its final form. And so we see that as a big target, and we decided to take that on. here's a view of the traditional cathode process. Effectively, if you start at the left and you have the metal from the mine, the first thing that happens is the metal from the mine is changed into an intermediate thing called a metal sulfate, because that's just happened to be what chemists wanted a long time ago. And then when you're making the cathode, you have to take this intermediate thing called metal sulfate, add chemicals, add a whole bunch of water, a whole bunch of stuff happens in the middle, and at the end, you get that little bit of cathode and a whole bunch of wastewater and byproducts.
Yeah, it's insanely complicated. If you look at the total, like if you're just like, you know, it's a small world journey of I am a nickel atom. What happens to me? And it's crazy. Like you're going around the world 3 times. There's like the moral equivalent of like dig in the ditch, fill in the ditch, and dig in the ditch again. It's total madness, basically. And these things just grew up as they're just kind of like legacy things that it's like how it was done before. And then they connected the dots, but really didn't think of the whole thing from like a first principle standpoint, saying how do we get from the nickel ore in the ground to the finished nickel product for a battery. And so we've looked at the entire value chain and said, how can we make this as simple as possible?
And that's what we're proposing here with our process. As you can see, a whole lot less is going on here. We get rid of the intermediate, metal, water, final product cathode, recirculate the water, no wastewater at all. And when you summarize all of that, it's a 66% reduction in CapEx investment, a 76% reduction in process cost, and 0 wastewater. Much more scalable solution.
Yeah.
So what's your take on Battery Day and Tesla's focus on renewable energy and responsible ecology? Are those objectives more important than the human rights issues brought up as shareholder proposals during the annual meeting preceding the presentation? Share with us by dropping a comment below. We hope you enjoyed this 36th installment in our series of tech shorts. If so, mash that like button. Links to our previous episodes can be found below. Stay connected by occasionally checking our Instagram feed, where we post content from our upcoming episodes and from episodes past that you may have missed. Make sure you follow our Twitter account, where all new episodes are announced. And finally, join us on our Facebook page, where we cover current news and events related to channel content. Thanks for watching.